Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we begin an incredibly deep, cinematic, and immersive journey into the world of the 5 euro cent coin, a tiny reddish piece of metal that most people pass from hand to hand without even noticing, yet its story stretches across decades of European ambition, political transformation, engineering brilliance, financial unity, and artistic symbolism. And to understand how this small copper-covered steel coin became one of the most widespread and culturally important denominations in modern Europe, we must return to the late 1990s, when world leaders, economists, designers, and mint engineers were preparing to launch an entirely new monetary system unlike anything seen before, the euro, a currency that would connect dozens of cultures and replace centuries of individual national money. And within this vast project existed a careful design decision that even the smallest denominations had to carry meaning, identity, heritage, convenience, and recognizability, which is why the 5 euro cent coin was created not as a simple piece of change but as a symbol of the modern European ideal, a coin intentionally crafted to be small yet sturdy, lightweight yet distinctive, a coin designed to travel effortlessly from Spain to Slovakia, from Belgium to Cyprus, from Finland to Italy, a coin that had to survive vending machines, supermarket counters, train stations, toll booths, cafes, bakeries, and pockets of millions of people from all walks of life, and for that reason the European mints chose copper-covered steel, giving the coin its iconic warm reddish color similar to older European coinage traditions while ensuring durability, magnetism for machine detection, and cost-efficient production. And when Luc Louix, the Belgian engraver, designed the common reverse side of the euro-cent coins, he created not just a functional design but a visual statement. A globe showing Europe's place in the world, lines suggesting economic stability, and 12 stars representing unity, all combined with clean bold lettering marking the value, transforming the coin into a miniature piece of art that millions would see daily without realizing the complexity behind its creation. And while the reverse design is shared across all Eurozone countries, the obverse design changes depending on the nation, allowing each country to embed its culture into this small coin, turning the 5 euro cent into a traveling gallery of European heritage, with Italy showcasing the ancient Colosseum, Ireland displaying its iconic harp, Spain presenting the portrait of King Juan Carlos in earlier years and later King Felipe, France portraying Marianne as a symbol of liberty, Germany featuring the mighty oak twig that represents strength and tradition, Portugal showing its medieval seals, Belgium presenting King Albert II and later King Philippe, the Netherlands depicting Queen Beatrix and later King Willem-Alexander, and each of these designs carries history, identity, and pride, meaning that every 5 euro cent coin in circulation is more than just a monetary object. It is a cultural ambassador quietly moving from hand to hand, silently sharing stories of the countries that created it. And when the euro was officially launched in 2002, billions of these coins began pouring out of national mints, with production levels so massive that factory lines operated around the clock, creating mountains of freshly struck copper-colored coins that would soon flood the entire continent. And yet, even with billions minted, small variations began to appear, creating the foundation for future collector interest, because whenever a huge minting operation takes place, errors and anomalies naturally occur, and though most errors are caught and destroyed before they reach circulation, some slip through the cracks, and these surviving error coins become rare treasures for numismatists, especially in the lower denominations like the 5 euro cent, where people rarely inspect the coins closely, meaning an error can circulate for years before being discovered. And among the most fascinating types of errors found in the 5 euro cent series are double die strikes where the lettering or globe appears doubled, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, misaligned dies that shift details sideways, filled dies that remove details from the globe lines or stars, over-polished dies that erase certain elements, and wrong planchet strikes where the coin was accidentally struck on metal intended for a different denomination, creating extremely rare and valuable pieces. And these unexpected minting mistakes, mixed with the differences between mints, years, and countries, gradually created a whole universe of varieties, some extremely common and others shockingly rare. And when you combine these with the fact that certain microstates like Monaco, San Marino, and Vatican City produce extremely tiny numbers of coins compared to major countries, the result is a fascinating world where some 5 euro cent coins are everywhere and others are nearly impossible to find. And as Europe expanded with new countries joining the Eurozone such as Slovenia, Cyprus, Malta, Slovakia, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, each one introduced its own national obverse design, adding more variety and more stories to the world of euro-cent collecting. And the evolution continued as updated portrait designs, minor adjustments to minting machinery, changes in die sharpness, and shifting production volumes all contributed to new collectible differences. And at the same time an interesting sociological shift began happening, because as digital payments grew more popular, especially after smartphones became mainstream, people started using physical coins less, leading to a gradual accumulation of lower-value denominations in jars, drawers, and glove compartments, which unintentionally preserved pristine, uncirculated examples without anyone realizing it. And while the 1 and 2 euro cent coins are sometimes considered for removal due to rounding systems in certain countries, the 5 euro cent coin continues to remain essential in the structure of pricing and vending systems throughout the Eurozone, meaning it still plays a key role in everyday transactions, and despite being small and humble, the coin has found its place in the world of collectors, historians, economists, and hobbyists, because its variations reflect political changes, technological upgrades, and even the evolution of European identity, and over time certain rare pieces began making their way into auctions, catching global attention, such as early microstate issues or coins with dramatic striking errors, some of which are so unusual that collectors compete fiercely for them, driving prices higher than anyone would expect for such a small denomination. And the beauty of this coin is that even though billions exist, the rare ones stand out like hidden diamonds among sand, and discovering one in your pocket, purse, or spare change bowl is always possible, which is why thousands of collectors constantly search through rolls, bags, and everyday circulation, hoping to find the next star of the Euro world. And as the years move forward and more coins age, get worn down, or get lost forever, the surviving high-grade pieces from earlier years will only become more desirable, turning the 5 euro cent coin into an object where history and future value meet. And among all these remarkable stories, as we continue this deep cinematic journey into the world of the 5 euro cent coin, the story now shifts from its creation and symbolism to the secrets, surprises, hidden rarities, overlooked details, and extraordinary events that have transformed this tiny reddish coin into an object of study, fascination, and treasure hunting for thousands of collectors across Europe and around the world. Because while many people assume that such a small denomination has little value beyond its purchasing power, the truth is that the 5 euro cent coin carries mysteries that most never notice, and these mysteries become even more dramatic when we explore the lesser-known varieties and unexpected minting phenomena that have occurred since the coin's introduction in 2002. Starting with the dramatic early Euro rush when mints were working non-stop to produce billions of coins for a dozen countries preparing to shift their entire economies to the euro overnight, and that pressure created the perfect environment for minting anomalies, because when production speed increases drastically the chances of errors rise with it, allowing rare mistakes to slip into circulation, and some of the most legendary 5 euro cent pieces ever discovered come from these early years, including double-die obverse errors where the architectural details or portraits appear doubled, creating a ghost-like image that fascinates collectors. And then there are off-center strikes so dramatic that half the design is missing, leaving broad smooth metal spaces where the die failed to hit, and even more unusual are the partial collar strikes, where the edge of the coin expands outward like a thin copper crescent, a result of the coin not sitting properly in the striking chamber. And among the most desirable errors ever seen are wrong planchet strikes, where a 5 euro cent coin was mistakenly struck on a blank meant for a 2 euro cent or even a foreign denomination, creating extremely rare misfits in size, weight, color, and thickness, and whenever such a coin appears it becomes a superstar in auctions because collectors know errors like these are freak accidents that cannot be replicated and are impossible to predict. And moving away from errors we find an even more complex world of national varieties. Because the 5 euro cent coin is unique in that every Eurozone country uses the same reverse design but has the freedom to place its own national symbol, historical building, leader, or cultural art on the obverse, and this creates a beautiful diversity across the Eurozone, as Italy proudly features the Colosseum, a monument that survived wars, empires, and earthquakes, now immortalized on a tiny piece of metal that millions carry without realizing the history they hold, while Germany features the oak twig, an ancient symbol of endurance and national unity, and Ireland presents its traditional harp, a cultural icon with centuries of heritage. And then there are the special cases like Monaco, Vatican City, and San Marino, whose coins are produced in minuscule numbers compared to major countries, making their 5 euro cent coins extremely hard to find in everyday circulation, and any coin collector who finds one of these rare microstate cents in their loose change instantly knows they have discovered something special, because the mintages are often just a fraction of what larger nations produce. And when we explore special year varieties things become even more interesting, such as the 2004 Vatican 5 cent, the 2007 Monaco small mintage issue, or the 2011 San Marino pieces, all of which are extremely scarce and highly desirable, and as collectors dig deeper they also learn about die rotation varieties where the alignment between obverse and reverse is incorrect, creating a subtle twist that can significantly increase value. And then there are differences caused by multiple mints producing coins for the same country in the same year, resulting in small variations in strike sharpness, metal texture, or die wear, which might seem insignificant to the average person but are incredibly meaningful to specialist Euro collectors who study every detail with precision. And when you add in the fact that certain Eurozone countries changed portraits, updated their national designs, or adjusted their minting methods over the years, the variety becomes even more expansive, making the 5 euro cent series much deeper and more intricate than most people realize. And this complexity has given rise to a growing global community of Eurocent collectors who specialize specifically in the smallest denominations, because the thrill is magnified by the fact that rare pieces often hide in plain sight, meaning an extremely valuable coin can sit unnoticed in a laundry jar or cash drawer for years before someone finally examines it closely. And this excitement fuels the coin roll hunters across Europe who search through hundreds of rolls hoping to uncover rare years, microstate issues, early proofs, misstrikes, or die varieties. And as the years pass, the survival rate of early uncirculated coins becomes lower, because circulation wear gradually destroys fine details, and every year thousands of coins are damaged, corroded, bent, or simply lost, meaning the pool of pristine early examples shrinks continuously, increasing their long-term collectible potential. And the 5 euro cent coin also carries another layer of importance in economic history because it represents a bridge between the old national currencies and the modern unified monetary system that Europe uses today, making each early issue not just a coin but a piece of political and cultural transformation, and collectors deeply appreciate this connection, especially when examining the coins from 1999, 2000, and 2001 that were minted before the physical euro was officially released. Because these pre-launch coins are historically significant, symbolizing anticipation, preparation, and the monumental shift that Europe was about to experience, and as time marches on, even everyday people begin to realize that some coins in their pockets might be worth more than they imagine, especially if they come from microstates whose coins were never meant to circulate widely, or if they accidentally hold an early proof piece that somehow escaped its official packaging and entered circulation. And when such coins appear at auction, they often set new price records, drawing international attention because collectors know these discoveries are becoming increasingly rare, and the world of numismatics has already recorded several impressive sales for rare 5 euro cent coins, demonstrating that even a small denomination can achieve remarkable value when rarity, condition, historical context, and collector interest align perfectly. And this is why the 5 euro cent has earned a special place in modern European coin collecting culture, because it represents the unexpected, the overlooked, the humble coin that becomes valuable not because of grandeur or precious metal but because of its story, its variations, its accidents, and its journey through millions of hands across dozens of nations. And as the story continues into the next chapter, we will explore the most expensive pieces ever discovered, the legendary era coins that shocked collectors, the tiny mintage issues that command astonishing prices, and the fascinating future of the 5 euro cent coin as physical money evolves in a digital age. And now as we enter the final deep chapter of this cinematic journey into the world of the 5 euro cent coin, we turn our attention fully toward the rarities, the breathtaking surprises, the unexplainable minting accidents, the nearly impossible discoveries, the top-tier collector treasures, and the extraordinary high-value pieces that have elevated this small copper-colored coin into an unexpected legend within modern numismatics. Because while billions of 5 euro cent coins were produced across multiple nations and years, only a fraction of them contain the rare traits that ignite collector excitement, and these rare pieces often carry stories so unusual, so improbable, and so dramatic that they feel like scenes from a movie rather than real-life events. And to truly understand how these tiny coins gain such prestige, we must explore the world of errors and anomalies more deeply than ever before, beginning with the miraculous wrong planchet strikes, the most astonishing category of all, where the coin is accidentally struck on metal meant for a completely different denomination or even a different foreign coin, and this error creates pieces that defy expectations with their abnormal weight, thickness, color, and texture. And among these wonders are legendary finds where a 5 euro cent was struck on a 2 euro cent planchet, creating a coin slightly smaller and lighter yet retaining the 5-cent design. And even more shocking are cases where a 5 euro cent was struck on a planchet intended for a national coin produced outside the euro system, resulting in color tones ranging from dark bronze to pale yellow, transforming these bizarre errors into some of the most coveted rarities ever discovered. And then we venture into the world of dramatic off-center strikes where the die hits the blank in the wrong position, pushing part of the design toward the edge and leaving a wide crescent of empty metal. And the farther the strike drifts, the more valuable the coin becomes, with some 5 euro cent coins displaying up to 70% off-center strikes, making them almost unrecognizable and deeply fascinating to collectors who love coins that reveal the chaotic side of minting technology. and beyond these visual anomalies exist the subtle but extremely meaningful double die errors, where tiny elements like the globe lines, stars, or lettering appear slightly doubled, creating a ghost-like image caused by die misalignment during production. And while many double dies are minor, the strong ones are highly prized because they represent a clear mechanical failure that occurred at the exact moment the die was being prepared, making each one a small frozen moment in minting history. And then we explore die cracks, breaks, and cuts that form when parts of the die itself fracture or erode during high-speed minting, leaving raised metal lines or blobs on the finished coin. And although these defects can vary greatly in size and shape, the largest cuds on 5-euro-cent coins can completely distort parts of the globe or the stars, creating dramatic and valuable pieces that collectors hunt relentlessly. And the story becomes even more exciting when we introduce transitional errors, the rarest category of all, where leftover planchets from a previous minting cycle are accidentally used in a new production year, creating coins that should not exist and are therefore among the most valuable ever found. And while physical errors are one pathway to rarity, the world of ultra-low mintage coins is another, because countries like Monaco, San Marino, and Vatican City produce extremely small quantities of coins compared to major nations, making their 5-euro-cent coins some of the hardest to find in circulation. And when one of these rare microstate coins appears unexpectedly in everyday change, it becomes a moment of pure shock and excitement for collectors, as if a hidden treasure has revealed itself, and the scarcity is made even more intense for early years or special editions, such as the first-year Monaco issues or the early Vatican coins that were snapped up by collectors immediately upon release, leaving almost none to circulate naturally. And the mintages for these countries can be so small that the coins are sometimes considered modern equivalents of ancient rarities. And similar attention surrounds certain years from larger countries where production suddenly dipped, turning certain date and country combinations into surprise key dates that collectors discover only after studying mintage data closely. And this dynamic, constantly evolving landscape of rarity keeps collectors engaged, especially those who specialize in studying national designs, mint marks, micro-variations, and the complex relationships between circulation patterns and population shifts across Europe. And as we move deeper into the story, we encounter proof coins, which are struck using specially prepared dies and polished blanks, giving them mirror surfaces and razor-sharp details. And while proof coins are usually sold directly to collectors rather than entering circulation, the extremely rare cases where a proof 5-euro-cent accidentally escaped into the public become the stuff of legend, because a proof coin found in everyday change is an impossible discovery, a once-in-a-lifetime event that instantly elevates the coin's value and historical significance. And the collector world also pays close attention to die rotations, slight design adjustments, and changes in the European map depicted on the reverse, because certain designs were updated to reflect the expansion of the European Union, meaning early maps and later maps can differ, creating additional layers of collectible variation. And when we combine all of this, errors, varieties, microstate issues, proofs, transitional mistakes, rare years, and early versions, we begin to understand why the 5-euro-cent coin has developed such a surprisingly rich and complex collector ecosystem, far deeper than its small size and tiny face value would ever suggest. And as time rolls forward and more older coins wear down, get damaged, or vanish from circulation entirely, the surviving high-quality examples from earlier years will only grow more desirable, especially in mint state condition where the surfaces remain clean, reflective, and untouched by years of handling. And these pristine pieces become essential anchors in advanced Euro collections, forming the foundation for long-term investment potential. And the story becomes even more compelling when we examine the highest auction prices ever achieved by exceptional 5-euro-cent coins, because although most coins are worth little more than their face value, the rarest pieces, particularly major wrong planchet errors, dramatic off-center strikes, or ultra-low mintage microstate issues, have commanded astonishing prices, with the most expensive 5-euro-cent coin ever sold reaching an extraordinary value of $5,200, a truly remarkable number for such a small denomination, proving beyond any doubt that even the smallest, and every coin, even the smallest cent, has a story worth telling, a journey worth following, and a treasure waiting to be found. Thanks for watching.